I know it sounds crazy, right? But you read what the title said. We're gonna have a little talk about living in Korea. So I'm pretty sure I got to Korea when I was 19 years old. Just to give you an update, I will be 40 June 16th. Yes, I'll be 40 years old. Um, I'm gonna go to Thailand for 2 weeks for my birthday, and I'm gonna do it up big. Gotta do something big for the 40, right? So let's get into it. Back in, school, I wasn't really doing much. I was rapping, thought I was gonna be the next big rapper out of Virginia. My pops was like, you don't got no discipline. Here's the ASVAB test, the test you gotta take to get into the military. And he's like, study, you gonna take this test. I'm like, what? So anyway, studied, took the test. I think the jobs they gave me was like a cook, a water specialist, which they make it sound good. I forgot what it was. Water specialist, mechanic, MP, and some other jobs they gave me. But I was like, mechanic, that sounds good because I probably can use that if I decide to get out. So I did the mechanic. So took the test, boom, everything's good. My basic training was at Fort Benning, and it was, I guess, if I remember correctly, Fort Benning's like infantry. Anyway, it was like all males. There was no females there. So I'm like, what is this? And then in the middle of basic training, we got transferred to Fort Jackson. Let me tell you, when I got to Fort Jackson and I seen females, I was like, oh my gosh. After coming from Benning and it's all males, I'm like, yo, this is what it is. So did my basic training and AIT at Fort Jackson, Columbia. I got a story for you before I get into all. So they used to let us go out probably like, I think about six weeks into it, something like that. You get your privileges where you can go out in town. So we probably like 18, something like that. And we wanted to go out ain't have that much money, but we thought we was doing it up. So we went to a strip club. My first time ever going to a strip club. I'm in there, the girl, she's giving me a lap dance. I'm like, oh my gosh, the googly eyes. I think she loves me. She's talking to me. She's telling me everything I want to hear. Man, my little money ran out. She's like, you got more money? I was like, that's all I got. You go to the ATM, matter of fact, they charge you like $5 fee just to take money out. I'm broke. I ran out of money. She got up so quick and left me. My heart was broke. She broke my heart. I thought she loved me, but I found out real quick, nah, that's not what it was about. So AIT finished, and half of my peoples, they went to, I think, Fort Sam Houston, Fort Bliss. Anyway, they all went to Texas. And when they came to me, they said I was going to Korea. Let me paint the picture for this day. It's raining, and we all huddled up, and everybody, all my friends, they going to Texas. And they say, you're going to Korea. I'm not gonna lie to you, I started crying. I'm like, yo, they sending me to Korea. Like in my head, picture, if you never been out of country and you see the movies and stuff, I'm looking at Korea and I'm thinking dirt roads, TP, they at war with North Korea, how close I'm gonna be to North Korea. So I was crying because I wasn't going where my friends were going. So boom, AIT finishes, we get on the plane. I land in Korea. When I got there, I looked around. I'm like, yo, this is pretty dope, Got to my first duty station. Platoon Sergeant, Sergeant Roberts, got to give a shout out to him. My roommate, Chuck Diddy, my best friend, my day one still to this day. He held me down. He took me under his wing. He showed me a lot of stuff in Korea. I'm not gonna talk about on this YouTube. Maybe that'll be another episode. We got some stories about that. But yeah, he took me under his wing. I ended up staying in the military for 3 years. After the second year, I was supposed to go to Fort Pope. So I didn't know what Fort Pope was, but everybody was telling me, like, you don't really want to go to Fort Pope. So I extended for another year. I think I got the free ticket home or I got the money. And then I ended up ETSing. If you don't know what that is, when you get out the military. So the whole last year I was in the military, I didn't do no work. Like, we shammed. Me and my boy, we both got out. We grew our hair out. While we was in the military, we got braids on the weekend, going out partying. Yeah, we did a lot of crazy stuff. Shout out to all the people that was in 377 Dust Off. Y'all know what I got out. To be honest, I didn't really have a plan, but at that time I had a Korean girlfriend, and in my mind I was like, oh, I want to stay with her, so I'm going to stay in Korea. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to try to get a job to stay with her. That's my whole purpose of staying in Korea. Here's where I swear all my jobs, everything, I've been lucky for a long time. So I got out. The first job I got was AFE's car sales, selling cars. So boom, fresh out. I'm what 21, 22, somewhere there. I'm still a young buck. Got out, got that job. I did that for 2 months. 2 months. First of all, I got there, and it's like 6 people in the office, and this is what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word right now, but you don't get paid every month. You get paid off of how many cars you sell. So there was one dude in the office, he was helping me out, but you got to think about it. They all trying to eat, and they really not trying to help a newbie out. To commission, it was commission. They really not trying to help you out. Give a big shout out to my boy Xavier and Andre. For my second job, my boy X, he told me, he's like, yo, they're having an interview in this hotel downtown. So I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, just go to this hotel. They having an interview, trust me. So I go in there, you know, all suited up with my resume and stuff, sit down with the owner, or one of the owners. We had an interview. He's like, you know, I told him I just got out the military. And guess what the interview was about? The interview, we talked about Snoop Dogg. He was talking to me about his wife and how they want to get younger people to work for them. So that was the whole interview. I think we talked a little bit about my military background and being a mechanic. That was it. I left the interview. I didn't think nothing about it. He told me, if we're gonna hire you, we'll call you back in a couple of days. I left. About 45 minutes later, he called me and he's like, guess what? We're gonna give you the job. So I'm like, at that time, I'm the youngest contractor. I'm not gonna tell you how much money I was making, but it was a lot of money. Youngest contractor in Korea, making money. And then around that time, I bought my Supra from Japan, right-hand drive, which I still got. I bought my Supra, so I did that job, and I did that for about 5 years, tax-free, contracting. It don't get no better than that. After that, what did I do? I did the contracting, and then after that, I did some teaching. Yeah, you probably like, what? You did some, yeah, it's a long story. But here again, I got lucky. One of my boys, shout out to my boy Sid, he's like, yo, I got this link, go to this town, and this dude's gonna give you an interview. I went there, I went to his coffee shop, I met this Korean dude, he gave me an interview, same thing, he's like, we'll call you if we wanna hire you. Boom, I get hired. Yes, I'm good. Again, this was like a special program with Samsung. So the money was very, very, very good. So I did that for about, I think I did that for about 4 years. Shout out to my coworkers, Jeff, Christina, Nick. I think at the time it was this girl named Kate. Yeah, shout out to all them. So like they were, I ain't gonna front, they were very, very amazing teachers. Like I was shook. I was like, oh man, these people, they're really good. I gotta try to step my game up. I ain't know what I was doing. I'm not gonna front, I didn't know, but I learned as the years went on, and I did that for about 4 years. And then at the end, they switched it up. Like they wanted to switch our contract where we were gonna get less money, still doing the same work. So being me, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So I quit, and I didn't even have a plan while I was quitting. I just quit the job when the contract was over. But the whole time that I was working there, I was trying to look for jobs to get back on base, you know, get into contracting again and get into the GS system the whole time. So I quit this job and I've been putting in for all these jobs. I got an interview. I thought the interview was what I applied for. I applied for so many jobs I didn't even remember. Thought it was a mechanic job. They called me in the morning. I'm ready. Boom, boom, boom. Got my points ready. It was a job for transportation. I was so caught off guard. I was asking the interviewer, like, yo, can you repeat that question? Can you repeat that question? Didn't do good. They're like, we might call you back. They never call me back. So boom, here we go. Oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I don't got no job lined up. Everything's running through my head. And then I get a call, and this job was like 2 hours away. I go all the way up north, 2 hours away, and I do an interview. Shout out to Mr. Singleton. He was a former Marine, and he didn't like Army. So I was Army, but you know, he was cool in the interview, real strict, disciplined. He's like, yeah, I really don't like y'all Army dudes. I don't understand y'all. So I left the interview and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, that he ain't gonna hire me. Once again, here I go again. Got lucky, boom. Couple of days later, he hit me up and he's like, we want to give you the job. So I was happy. I quit the teaching job with nothing lined up, and I got lucky again. So I went up there to start this job. I ran into some problems. I went to do my paperwork for this job, and it was a big issue. So I went all the way back home. I had to call all these people to get this issue handled. I had to go back to the States for 1 month. And at the time, he told me, he's like, just go back to the States, and if you get picked up, I'll bring you back to Korea. So I'm back in the States, which I really enjoyed because I got to spend time with my family, which I didn't go home for probably about 4 or 5 years. So I got to spend a month with my family. The whole time I'm in the States, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm ready to go. Like I feel like I don't belong here. So after 2-3 weeks, I got the email. He's like, your name came up on the list, so just stay patient. Because I was texting him every day, emailing him like, did you get any information? Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I enjoy being there with my family, but I feel like Korea is my second home. So got that. I went back. I still have my car over here. I went down to Daegu. Shout out to my boy Sam Sneed. I stayed at his house. You know, he took care of me, everything that I needed. And then I shot up there to where I needed to be. This is 4 hours away from me. I got a house in one day. I went back down there, got my stuff, and then I moved up there. So I stayed up there for 2 years working that job. The work was good, but the outside, like the people around, it was a terrible area. It's like right up there. It's like close to the DMZ. You right there with like North Korea. So it was terrible. I remember one morning I woke up and I was like, oh, it's going down, but it was just like tanks. They was on the road. I thought it was going down. So I did that for 2 years, and where I was at, they were shutting down. So I ended up coming back down 2 hours to my current job right now. And that about sums up about 20 years in Korea. The time flew. I never thought I would be here this long, but I love it. It's a very, very safe place. The money's good, you know. If it's not broke, then why try to fix it? So I'm gonna stay here, stay in Korea as long as I can. If I ever have to leave Korea, I'm probably gonna try to go to Japan. That's my next move. I don't think I could ever live in the States again. I feel out of place. So I probably would never do that again. One is a funny question because one of my friends, she was asking me, she's like, why do you like Korean girls? And I was trying to explain to her my reason, which that'd be another YouTube. But she's like, why don't you try to date foreigners? And I was just like, first of all, like all my girlfriends the last 20 years have been Korean. Shout out to the special ones. You know who you are. I don't want to say her name on here because, you know, she might have a boyfriend now, but shout out to that girl that lived in Jamshil. That's my special one. But yeah, I told her, I was like, I don't want to date a foreigner because they're going to be here for 2 years. And then after 1 year or 2 years, and then once they leave, they're going to go back to the States. And I'm not following nobody around. Like, I got my own life. I got my own thing going on here in Korea. So I'm not following nobody. So it's better for me to date someone that's in the country, Korean, you know what I'm saying? So that's my story. I hope it's not too long. I probably left a lot of stuff out. You gotta think it's like 20 years worth of information. There's some stuff I just don't want to say on the YouTube, but I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, we are going to be going to Thailand in June for my birthday. We probably gonna go to the Philippines next month. There's a Bruno Mars concert coming up. We got the Ultra Music Festival coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I'll see y'all next week.